So they created these organizations, and now the regime doesn't have the control even for them, because they got a lot of guns that they can defend also against the police, against the military. So that's why they can have the control in the capital, because the real militaries, the real police, they don't have the real guns that can defend against these people.
When I left the country, it's because I was pointed with a gun by the police, I would say, and in that time I decided to leave the country. There are a lot of kidnapping back in the 2015, 2016, and as I mentioned before, all these people are supported by the government, because this is a tool that they have to control people, you know, because everybody's afraid to going out. If you go there, it's like the Wild Wild West. There is no one after 7 p.m. There is no one on the street, because everybody's afraid of going out. There are no law. There is no, how can you say? There is, you don't feel this safety that you can feel here in Malta, for example.
As well as corruption, organized crime, persecution, torture, and other atrocities, Maduro's regime is accused of ecocide, with the destruction of the Venezuelan Amazon. Illegal mining in Venezuela also contributes to the country's deforestation. Gold extraction has spread toxic mercury into the rivers and created hardship for those who rely on healthy fish for survival. The shortage of gas has increased the use of firewood. Dilapidated infrastructure and the ship-to-ship transfer of sanctioned cargo have contributed to oil spills impacting the environment.
We would like to thank Malta and the Maltese people for receiving so many Venezuelans in exile. The longer Maduro remains in power, this complex humanitarian emergency will become more serious.
Malta can lend its voice, lend its support, help Venezuelan citizens in Europe, particularly in Malta, to reduce as much as possible the difficulties which they find in their day-to-day lives, in traveling, in anything which protects their identity and the possibility of working and of having an independent living and an independent life.
Here in Malta there are big groups of Venezuelans. We are around of 1,000. Most of us, we are organized together, but not everybody wants to speak just for safety, because their families there can be localized after if they say something. So, but what we have to tell you is that we as Venezuelan foreign people here living in Malta, we are thankful for what you have done for us, but also we are organized to keep growing, and then when someday this nightmare finish, we can go back to our country and bring all these new things that can make us grow a new nation.
As well as the re-establishment of the national constitution, the delegation seek the following support from the international community: the freedom of political, civil and military prisoners, the return of exiles to Venezuela, humanitarian aid and vaccines against COVID-19.
Now we are doing these steps that always we receive the advice from all people living in the government and the people that we are approach here in Malta, and we are grateful about the advance the Venezuelans here in Malta have this, certain benefits. They receive help from Maltese government and even from Maltese people, because I think the both cultures, they are matching very, very well, and we are doing well.
Promotion, ideas, informing the whole of Europe of what is happening. We don't really understand the extent of the reality in Venezuela. They are the people who can give us first-hand information.
Ieri siamo stati riuniti con dei venezuelani che sono qua a Malta.
During our visit, we had a meeting with Venezuelan nationals in exile in Malta. Many of them have escaped from a critical situation in our country. If they are not granted political asylum and legal stability, they cannot return to Venezuela.
È sempre più vicino perché dove c'è un venezuelano avvicina questo paese al nostro paese.
En torno a este acuerdo de salvación nacional con la comunidad internacional, que es el que puede hoy garantizar soluciones reales a esta crisis en Venezuela.
It's a deterioration unless the mediation efforts arrive to a conclusion, or else there is the resignation of Maduro. The situation will go from bad to worse.
Agradecemos a toda la población y al Estado maltés todo el apoyo que le están brindando a Venezuela y que desde los distintos espacios van a ayudarlos para que juntos pueda haber pronto en Venezuela pues libertad, no solo en Venezuela, sino en toda América Latina. Muchas gracias.
Do your family or friends feel fearful in Venezuela?
Yes, my family is with me in Italy. Is silent with me. My friends, my equipment work sono in Venezuela. Sì, hanno paura.
I live with my family in Italy. In Venezuela, people are afraid and they are fighting for democracy and a better life. Although the exit from the situation may seem remote, I believe that we are getting to a solution.
Credo in noi politici che siamo con loro, però vedono lontana l'uscita, però tante volte si avvicina molto di più, per cui noi crediamo su quello.
We spoke to a number of Venezuelans in exile who are resident in Malta, many of whom would not participate in this program. They live in silence, fearing retribution to their families back home. Are you affected in any way by the complex humanitarian crisis in Venezuela? Send your comments in confidence by WhatsApp.
Grazie per permettermi parlare alle Camere del tuo programma, grazie per permettermi anche di parlare del Venezuela e dei venezuelani e dire a tutti quelli che ascoltano questo programma che la nostra lotta è libertaria, è democratica, è pacifica e con un motivo: tornare a casa, tornare in Venezuela libera.
Il piacere è stato mio. Auguri, signora.
Grazie.
Should you have any comments about the Venezuelan crisis, do send your comments to the number on the screen. Thank you for watching our briefing in English. I'm Leah Hogg for Net TV. Good evening.